My name is Tim Fagan. I'm the Industrial Design Manager for Bombardier Business Aircraft. The Global 7500 is Bombardier's new flagship business jet, the largest purpose-built business jet for cabin suites, and the only aircraft to connect cities like New York, Hong Kong, for example, nonstop. Our team was put together to focus specifically on cabin experience. So cabin layout, the variability in the different types of furnishings we would offer inside the cabin, and elements like seating, like cabin management and connectivity that have a really strong impact on passenger experience on board the aircraft. Very, very early on, through preliminary sketches, through concepts looking at how we want the aircraft to be laid out, what are the correct dimensions for cabin length, where we want the windows to be located. Through a series of mock-ups and collaborations with the airframe and the engineering team, we help figure out the proportions and the dimensions of the aircraft, how large it's supposed to be, so that at the end we know that the aircraft is tailor-made to the requirements of what's happening in the passenger cabin. Very important for us in our design process is the collaboration between the industrial design team, the customer-facing team, the engineering team. There are certainly engineering requirements linked to weight, performance, safety, manufacturability. So it's super important to have teams come together. For the 7500, the aim is really to design a home in the sky. The way to do that is to look at each cabin suite on its own as you would in a home. So when we're designing a bedroom, for example, how do you create a sense of coziness, a sense of calm in a space that size? What do you need from a lighting point of view? The lighting that you want in a bedroom is different than a lighting that you might want for a dining environment that might later on convert into a boardroom table. When we're looking at an entertainment space, we look at what's the correct screen size, what are the technologies that are emerging that our passengers are going to expect on board the aircraft. Super important for us is to go through some of these experience points and try to imagine what customers and passengers on board the aircraft are going to want as they transition from their morning, do a little bit of work, connect with the office, maybe relax a little bit, and then catch a few Z's before you arrive at your destination. The nuage seat was a very important part of the development for the Global 7500. That's really where the passenger spends the most time on board the aircraft. We started the seat development looking at the different modes of the seat as it would be used in flight. What's the correct geometry for that upright position? What's the correct geometry for a recline position that captures the maximum human demographic from 5th to 95th percentile users? And then how do we transition from that upright position to the recline position? Some of the more notable things that are new about the nuage seat are linked to human geometry, how you move around within the seat and how people behave while they're sitting. So the first element is what we call the floating base. As you move the seat around inside the cabin, as you might do to get closer to the table, for example, or to rotate the seat to speak to someone next to you, we've redesigned that mechanism to make it smooth, effortless, and completely silent. The next element, super important, is recline. What we noticed on a typical aircraft seat is what we call a simple recline. The backrest goes back, which is okay, but what can happen is you can lose the contact between your lower back and the backrest, and you can sometimes feel like you're sliding out of the seat. So what we found was, as you recline, if you create a linkage that tips the seat pan a little bit below your hips, you can go into this sort of zero-G position where you feel completely cradled. You maintain that contact between your body and the seat. And also, we preserve the contact between your feet and the floor. And then another subtle change, but super important, is a tilting headrest. So when you've got into this reclined position, you can reach back and raise and adjust the headrest and pivot it so that it captures the base of your head, so you're fully supported from head to foot. we have a really strong collaboration with not only the engineering team, but also the upholstery team that are going to be manufacturing and hand sewing and hand fabricating these seats. Throughout the cabin, be it the wood cabinetry, the soft goods, it's all handmade and hand fabricated for the 7500 within Bombardier. Working with people who know leather, they know soft goods and fabrics, really helps steer the design team on the correct location of stitches, how do you get the most out of the material, how do you maximize softness and flexibility within the seat, so that the seat is not only beautiful but is comfortable and repeatable. We can maintain that level of quality in production. After a client purchases an aircraft, there's a process by which we define what we call the completion of the aircraft. So over the course of a few meetings with our design team and account management team, we work with the client to figure out, at the beginning point, the cabin layout. So we look at elements and discuss with them what their typical mission is, how the aircraft will be used, who is going to be on board, will they be going overnight, these kind of things that will help us zero in on the correct layout from a floor plan point of view. We help the customer select the colors, soft goods and materials, and also the form giving that is going to allow the aircraft to be an expression of the user. As a designer, what's really rewarding about leading a design activity for an aircraft like the Global 7500 is that it's a series of individual design projects with individual design focus, and each one is super rewarding on its own. And then to have them all come together into a unified whole so that each piece is working together is super exciting. Now that we're approaching entry into service and delivering that first aircraft to our customers, it's really rewarding to be able to bring these aircraft to them and get their feedback. We're really excited to get this aircraft into the hands of our customers.